you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, as the steering committee members, we're trying to, as much as possible, tempting as it is to do otherwise, trying as much as possible not to foreclose discussions that are taking place among the discussion groups. This is supposed to be a time of brainstorming. But I want to echo something that Tim said, who's a member of the steering committee, about research and its relationship to practice, because there is a wide range of relationships between research and practice that any leading research university should be caring about as they develop professional programs. We have the benefit of creating professional programs that grow out of a research base, a stronger research base. We're not a community college that looks to a research university to give us the ideas about how to structure our curriculum. We're the ones creating new curricula. And so we have this opportunity. And as far as I'm concerned, despite the fact that I'm from the School of Journalism and was very upset at the time of the initial announcement that we were going to undergo this process of review for being closed, it was, I think, probably a good game changer for how our future can be designed. We were stuck in a way of looking at the world, in a way of thinking about how the practice of journalism should take place, but not only about how the practice of journalism should take place, also about how public expression more generally can take place in a digital world, and how that relates to the arts and the humanities. I mean, you heard Bruce Montgomery talking about memory, which is so profoundly important to so much of what journalists need to be caring about with digital archives, and how they're created and how their integrity is maintained. And how they're accessed, and so there's this whole skill set in information science that this campus does not possess in any significant portion. We do not have an information science program at the University of Colorado. How to create, how to do digital curation. It's something that people do in their own fields that is specific to their own practices. Bloggers try and figure out how they're going to maintain their archive. Artists who curate artworks that are ongoing do the same. But this is also a set of practices that's being studied by researchers in iSchools. This is the kind of talent that spans across disciplines, not just in the humanities, not just in the arts, not just in the social sciences, but all of them. And we have somewhat of a deficit in a number of areas with respect to not only computing, but how to organize information, how to search databases, how to categorize, how to recognize what's useful and what's not. And these are skills that I think will become increasingly important, not only to journalists, but certainly to journalists in the future. I'm not sure if there's, like I said, it's too soon for the steering committee to be weighing in on, what the curriculum should be. I think we're very hopeful. I think this is a very promising opportunity for a lot of us sitting across this table and in the room to figure out new ways to organize that, as you said, don't just mimic what's already been done out there. We're looking for new combinations of arts and humanities and social sciences and sciences. So that's exciting to me.
So
I think the opportunity also is that a lot of these iSchools and other universities are kind of ossified. They started 15, 20 years ago. They're set in their ways. And I think this offers University of Colorado a unique opportunity to start, anew and with technologies and research that are far more contemporary than perhaps what was done in the past.
More to the point, just to your question, a lot of these iSchools came from a history or heritage from libraries, and so which is more of, if I can characterize it as more of a storage and retrieval of past information. To think of an iSchool that's more from a more journalistic approach, which is the projection of new and current information. It sounds much more dynamic and exciting than these other formulations. So I think we have the opportunity here, just from the way we've thrown these forces together, that we can create something here that's very different and a lot more dynamic and will grow in the future in ways that the current iSchools will not.
So just to kind of close off this piece of the conversation, and then we'll hear again from the audience. I think people have already talked about it, in a sense, what's different, which is that we've tried to start the conversation from as many corners of the campus as we could. So, as Tim says, most information schools arise from computer science and/or library science. We can find schools of communication that include communication and journalism and theater and so on. We've tried to open the conversation to as many locations as possible. That doesn't mean all those people end up in this new place. It doesn't mean all the units get moved to this new place. It doesn't mean that every student in the new college would study all these different disciplines. It is just an opportunity to put a lot of different, exciting work into collaboration with each other and a conversation with each other. And Jan asked what I would now include that I haven't included. I mean, I'll just say to those from the university community here, we're always interested in adding more voices. So if somebody feels there's something that's not included, there's been some concerns whether the social science side of things was adequately represented. If people feel that way, come forward. We're happy to build that into the conversation. I think the problem is less, do we have everybody in the room, because I think we got a lot of people in the room, is that we're still all learning how to talk to each other, so that you can just see how the way in which certain kinds of words, information and communication, are going to be flashpoints for different people in different ways. They mean things in different parts of the campus. And part of what we're trying to do is build a common vocabulary so that we can actually talk together about this project. Of course, the other group that we want to involve always is the community beyond the walls of the university. You've heard a number of people talk about trying to connect with local, both for-profit, non-profit operations community. But again, that's why we had this session, was to listen to you all. I believe, Mr. Sobel, you wanted to say something.